Hey guys, this is probably going to be a relatively boring video, but this is going to be a Q&A type video. I've cycled through all of my videos, all 5 of them, and I've pulled out some questions that might be relevant to some of the other viewers that have not seen those other videos. If you want to see those other videos, just go back into my channel and take a look at them. But first we're going to start with, let's see, I'm going to try something new. We're going to try something with this here. Playing with the audio a little bit. I can't get better audio unless I use a different software, so I apologize if the audio is not that great, but we're going to go ahead with it anyway. First question that we have here is from Dacroon, and he says, "Hey, thanks Board Gamer Review for replying to my questions. It sure helps a lot. I've had a few other questions, and I'm confused on this particular card. The card is this one, as you see it here. It's Garel Strout, and as the card reads, when Garel Strout attacks, he deals 2 fire damage to target opposing hero." Now, the question that he poses here is, does that mean the ally that is attacking my hero gets hurt for 2 damage, or does this mean that when my ally attacks another ally, he does damage to the hero as well for 2 damage? Well, let's give you a scenario here. Let's say this is your opponent's ally right here. Hopefully you can see that. And this is your opponent's hero right here. If the way I read this card, and I've read it several times over, and this is what I get out of it, and I think this makes the most sense. When Garel Strout attacks this particular opposing ally, or any opposing ally or pet or of that nature, he also deals 2 fire damage to the opposing hero. Now, in my personal opinion, the best way to use this card is have this card directly attack your opposing hero for a total of 5 damage. That's how I would read this card. So basically, every time this card attacks an opposing ally, he gets to attack the opposing hero for 2 extra fire damage. Now, the 2 extra fire damage that go to the hero is the hero cannot defend against it. In other words, the hero will not do damage back to Garel Strout. Okay? Or Strout. There was something else I was going to say about this card, but I can't really remember. There are a couple of cards well, more than a couple. There's quite a few cards that have similar abilities like this. And I think it's a very good card, actually. And the reason I think it's a very good card, first of all, it's got a cost of 4, and it's got 4 health, and you can do a total attack of 5. Anytime you can do a total attack of more than what the card is costing you, okay, I personally think it's a great card. This also comes from the, if I remember this correctly, Fires of Outland set, and that is a very expensive set to get your hands on. I think a box of those is going to a booster box of those is going to set you back about $150. So congratulations on getting one of these cards, or any of the Fires of Outland cards. They're very hard to get your hands on. This is a new format. If you guys have any questions with regards to specific cards, I'm going to try and do this for you. I find it easier to read a card like this on camera than it is to show you a card like this. I want you to see what I'm talking about. So, Dacroon, I hope that answers your question. And any of you guys have questions regarding cards or any questions at all, just send me an email at boardgamereview@hotmail.com. In the subject line, put WoW TCG questions, and I'll see what I can do about answering them. I'm not a professional player. I don't play tournaments, but I do have a pretty good handle on the game. Okay, so this is one of the formats that I'm going to use. Hope you guys like it. Moving on to the next question. The rest of this video might be a little bit boring for you guys because I've got nothing to show you, except for this. This is another question that someone's actually posed to me. Now, the question was, what is a loot card? And unless you've been sitting under a rock somewhere, and you're very new to the game, I shouldn't insult anybody like that. This is a loot card. And you can tell a loot card, I'll show it up at the camera. I got a bright light showing at the camera right now, and my autofocus is not on, so I won't do that. Roughly about there you can see it, maybe. I apologize. Down here you're going to see like a 6,000 digit code, and this is normally covered by a gold foil. And like a scratch and win ticket, you just basically scratch that very carefully, scratch that gold foil off, and it reveals a code. This code is put into the WoW TCG, the WoW online game, and this one in particular gives you paint bombs. So that's what a loot card is. Now moving on to the other questions. This is more of a comment from Clumsy Parasite. Goblins and Worgen are not a class, they are a race. That was a mistake I made in one of my first videos. I specified that when I was going through giving you all the class identifications, that I also mentioned Goblin and Worgen are classes. That was a mistake on my part. I apologize for that, but Goblin and Worgen are not classes. They are actually races. Thank you, Clumsy Parasite, for bringing that to everyone's attention. Dracoon. Just wanted to let you guys know that Dracoon sent me another comment. He says he's going to try and put out, and this addresses another question that has been posed to me. Can I actually do a play-by-play in this format where you can see it of an actual game? That's very difficult for me to do because I have the camera set up in such a fashion that it's really close and you can only see a very small selection of what's in front of me here. There's a lot more to this mat that you can actually see. If I raise the camera too high, you're not going to be able to see the cards at all. If anyone's got suggestions on how to do this that's legible for people, I'm more than willing to listen to them, and if it works out, I'll do a couple of tests and see how it goes. Because I really would like to show you guys how to actually play this with 2 players. But back to Dacroon. He is going to try and do this. So check out his channel. He's going to give me a heads up when he does this. He says, I'm going to try make it short, but he's going to, what does he say here? I'll read it directly. I'm going to try and make it short as I can, but I have to break it up into videos, possibly 3 videos, because YouTube only allows 15 minutes. Some games can go on quite some time. So check out Dacroon. That's spelled D-A-C-C-R-O-O-N. Check him out. He's going to be trying to do a play-by-play video on how to play the game. Here's another one. Here's a question I addressed in one of the videos that not in the video, but in the comments section, from Dacroon again. My nephew pulled out a priest card called Power Word Fortitude, which may attach to a target hero or ally. It's an ongoing ability, and when attached to a character, that character has +5 health. So in other words, when I attack him for 5 health on my turn, does that mean he gains 5 health back? No, it doesn't. All it really means is if this card had a health, if this card gets a +5 health, now he's at 9 health, and you've got to beat him down till he gets 0 health. He doesn't keep getting a +5 health. He only gets a maximum of 9 health. If you're able to destroy the card that's attached to it, then he goes right back down to whatever you beat him down to, -5, so you might kill him right off the hop. Hope that answers your question. I did go into a little bit more detail with that question in the video comments. Let's see. Here's scrolling down. This is from Pinky Girl 1999. I play Magic, and I would like to play WoW TCG. What are the major differences between the two? I would have to say the first major difference is theme, obviously. This is based on a video game. That's the major difference, obviously. The second major difference as far as game mechanics are concerned is this game does not have Mana Screw. And Mana Screw is basically, as I touched on it before, in Magic the Gathering, you require lands to put down. You can only play cards if you have enough lands. You cannot substitute any card for a land. If you don't have a land, you can't play it. That means you're restricted to what you can put down on the table. This does not occur in WoW TCG because any card that's in your deck or in your hand can be used as a resource card simply by flipping it upside down like that and putting it in your resource row. Now this is considered a resource row regardless of what it says on the other side of the card. Let's see. Major Hendix posed a question. I want to play this, but should I play Magic for a while, then get into WoW TCG, or just play WoW right away? Oh, of course, just play WoW right away. The thing is, these two TCGs, or any TCG for that matter, is not cheap to play. Well, it is cheap to play, but it's not cheap to be competitive with it. If you want to play for fun, you can play both games at the same time. If you want to play competitively, it's going to get very expensive for you to play both games. I mean, unless you have a money tree in your backyard or you're swimming in it, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to do. I would probably try this game first. Getting a starter deck and keeping your costs down just to make sure that you like this game. Once you get a handle on this game, though, I can almost guarantee if you play this game first, you will like this game more. Because once you switch from this game to Magic the Gathering, you realize that you are crippled if you do not have the appropriate lands, and that's not fun, not being able to play a card because you can't get another card out. And that touches on another thing. I find that WoW TCG to be more strategic because you are not restricted by what you have down here. This, what you put in your, I don't know what the row is called for Magic the Gathering, but when you have the option to put a card face down and play a resource, play it as a resource, that's decision making. When you're restricted by what you pull, that's luck. And obviously decision making is more strategic than luck. So I would opt for this one first. I think it's also cheaper to get into via the starter packs. How do I record from this angle? Well, quite simply, I've rigged up a little post that goes up like this, and I've got my camera pointed down at my table. Very simple, very ghetto, but that's the way I got it going. Let's see. That was by Steampunk1. The next question that I have here is for the Rampage 811. So my friends and I play Magic, and we bought Pokemon cards, then decided to play every TCG at least once, and WoW TCG is next. Is it worth playing? Yes. Yes, it is. I firmly believe that it is. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now. Give it a shot. I think everyone who plays TCGs or other TCGs, this is an excellent game to get into. Jackster006 posted a comment or a question. I was wondering, can you mix the cards from all expansions? I never had a chance to play card games like this, and I just don't have anyone to play with. But I bought about 3 booster boxes in the past just for fun because I enjoy WoW that much. Yes, you can mix all of the cards from any of the expansions, except for the raid decks. The raid decks have specific cards in there, and they're identified by a gold border around the card that they are way too powerful to be putting in a standard deck. Other than that, I think you should not have a problem. And to touch on that comment is basically if you're going to play Classic. Classic allows you to use any of the sets, any of the blocks that either Upper Deck put out or Cryptozoic put out. If you want to play Tournament, and this is new, if you want to play Tournament, you can only play in a tournament if you're using cards from the last 2 blocks. And a block would be a set of 3. So, for example, the I can't remember the set. World Breaker set. You've got the World Breaker, you've got War of the Elements, and then Tide of Iron, I think it is. Those 3 sets together make up a block. Every year they put out a block. In other words, every year they put out 3 sets. Being as you're only allowed to play 2 blocks back, so in other words, the last 2 blocks that were available, you have cards available to you to play in a tournament from the last 2 years. Anything prior to that is not legal in a tournament play. In other words, what they call core. And that is for tournament play. Classic play, you can use cards from any set, except for the raid decks. And the raid decks, only the ones that have the gold borders around them. The next question is from Night Goblin Shaman. I have a couple of questions, he says. When you tap, and I assume he says tap because he is a Magic the Gathering player, when you tap an ally to attack your opponent and it deals X damage, in other words, X damage. Now on your opponent's turn, his ally attacks you. Can you defend with the tapped ally you used your turn? Yes, you can. It's tapped, but it can still defend. It's tapped or exhausted, as it's known in World of Warcraft TCG. Does this have to be untapped? I just answered that. If you're defending, whether it's tapped / exhausted or not, it can still defend. And just because you defended, you do not have to exhaust your card. Like in Magic, after your opponent's turn does the damage, your ally... wait a minute. Like in Magic, after your opponent's turn does the damage on your ally, get healed, or do you play... No, damage is ongoing. Once a damage is dealt to this card, for example, if I dealt damage to this card and he was reduced to 2 health, he has 2 health until he is healed by another card. If he is not healed by another card, he remains at 2 health and just gets beat down till he's destroyed and goes into the graveyard. Let's see. How do you spell this? Dino303030. Put a comment in there. Are you planning on going over raid decks? Yes, I would love to go over a raid deck and explain raid decks, etc., etc., etc. I just have to get my hands on a raid deck. They're very scarce around where I am, so I don't know when that's going to happen. But if I can get my hands on one, yes, I will do a raid deck. I think that's pretty much it, guys. And like I say, if you have any other questions, you can email me at boardgamereview@hotmail.com. In the subject line, put WoW TCG questions, and I will address it. And let me know how you like this format. Is this easier for you to see? Do you enjoy seeing this? Maybe we can analyze some more cards. If anyone has any questions on cards, make sure if you're going to ask me a question about a card, you tell me the name of the card. What I basically do then is I just go online and print it out. And that's pretty much it. I am looking to do some more stuff on cards, some more stuff on how to build decks, what my favorite decks are currently, and things like that. That's about it. Another question for you guys. Would you guys like to see? There are a lot of box breaks, booster breaks. Is that something that you would want to see on this channel? There are thousands of channels on YouTube that do the same thing. I want to keep this one a little bit different. I don't want people to come here just strictly for watching me open up a package of cards. But if that's your thing, put a comment down there and let me know that that's what you'd like to see. Some people like to live vicariously through other people and watch them for some reason open up cards. That's it, guys. So just leave a comment down there or email me at boardgamereview@hotmail.com. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.